Okay, good evening, everyone. This is Rochelle with Best Choice Realty. We're going to be covering conference call number 2 tonight, which is Becoming a Market Master. We're going to go over some strategy and some ideas on how to better explain the market to our clientele. We're going to cover some ground on how to utilize the MLS. So if you're by your computer tonight, if you want to jump on to the northwestmls.com, I will be referring to a few things there and also going to a couple websites to help you understand a few concepts. To get started, just a couple housekeeping things. We are going to be going from 5:30 to 6. I've muted everybody on the line tonight. We have several people on the call tonight. If you do have questions throughout the presentation, if you want to send me an email, you're welcome to do so at Rochelle, RACHELLE, at bestchoicerealtywa.com. You're also welcome to text me. I will return text and phone messages while I'm doing the call. It will be after the call. I'll call you back, or if you have a specific question during the presentation or you need some help, be sure and reach out either by email or by text. All right, let's go ahead and get started. So becoming a market master is really understanding niche marketing, inventory, how to use some reports, understanding what the median price means, what absorption rates mean, and we're going to be going over those key points tonight. So for niche marketing, one of the things I would think would be very important for you to cover is discovering where you want to spend most of your time. Some people, when they start in the real estate business, they think, oh, I want to spend time working, my friends and my family and my network. Well, that's great. But one thing you want to do when you're working with your friends, family, network is to identify, where is that market going to be? Is it going to be around your home? Is it going to be along the I-5 corridor? Is it going to be down along you're around a school area? Again, you want to really identify what niche marketing you want to start and create. You're going to have to think about the unique needs of that marketing area. And you're also going to need to say the right thing. So one of the mistakes a lot of people make is they, start a campaign or a marketing idea in an area maybe for luxury, and they really haven't understood the luxury market, and they're definitely not saying the right thing. Their marketing postcards, their letters, or the way that they're communicating with that particular niche is not the right approach. And so they're saying the wrong thing, or their message is incorrect. And then the third thing to keep in mind when you're creating your niche marketing idea is to test it. Don't go so big, and if you start to see results very small, chances are it's something that will work really well for you. There's an agent on our team who works in an area that's very, it's a niche market. He established this marketplace a couple years ago, and he and I were sitting down and talking about his business plan for next year. And one of the things he talked about was how he followed what we covered in conference call number 2, which is looking at the niche or that marketing area and understanding what the unique challenges are. For his particular situation, it was in Duval and Monroe, and in that area, there was, Windermere was a big brokerage, yet they were not catering to the first-time home buyer bracket, and he was really understanding where those first-time buyers were looking, what they were looking for, how they conducted business, and what areas he needed to focus on. And so he spent a lot of time looking at those zip codes and really understanding that market area, and specifically the niche market area of first-time home buyers. He created some marketing campaigns around that. He created some ideas of how to educate those buyers, and that's a unique challenge. Being in an area where you work out of your home office, you don't have an office like Windermere to go to every day, and yet he was able to test that marketplace, saw results very early on, and now is really expanding his business in that area to add some more people to his team. So that can be done simply just you tonight making a plan and setting up a plan to cover a certain area. How are you going to do it? and then making sure you're saying the right thing and understanding where to get the information, the data from the MLS, and testing it. Some other ideas for niche markets that you may want to consider. We have agents that specialize in new home construction. They know everything there is to know about new homes in their community or what area they service. Luxury market, we have an agent that focuses only on $1 million plus, and she does a very good job with that luxury market. She's established herself in certain areas. She understands the unique needs of that marketplace, and she's able to say the right thing when she sets up her appointments or when she's actually communicating at a network event for the luxury market. Another niche for you guys might be just where you live. You might want to establish a presence. The example would be just the guy I was referring to earlier that lives in the Monroe area. He set up his niche marketing plan right around where he lived. It's been very successful for him. So once you identify your niche, then you want to think about some things that I have as far as an article. I refer to the article, and I can send the article to you if you'd like to read it. But it's an article that was designed a few years back, but it's still a very, very good article. It talks about deliver the numbers they need, and when they say they're referring to the consumer, deliver the numbers they need the way they need them. Today's consumers want information, and they want lots of it. They don't want just you to show up at the appointment and open the door for them. They're wanting you to, in a way, express those numbers or deliver the numbers to them the way they need them. And if you can do that, if you can provide them with that type of market snapshot, if you will, then they won't go elsewhere. They'll rely on you for that information and to be that person or that go-to person that they can rely on when they are going to make a decision, and especially when they're making a decision that sometimes is over $250,000. Most of our transactions in our office are over $275,000, $300,000, and so when we have those types of transactions that come through our office, I can only guess, and I know actually, that those consumers are wanting information from those agents or those brokers before they sign on the dotted line. So important to take some of these tips that we're going to talk about tonight, and it will help you in better building your market analysis, understanding strategy around your niche marketing that you're going to be doing, and also position yourself as an expert when you're looking at, being in competition perhaps with some other people that you are, they're real estate licensees. We have a lot of people that are getting their licenses now, and some of these people don't understand the market. So better for you to spend some time and identify what you need to know. So tonight we're going to talk about the strategy, how to segment, and then go into utilizing the MLS to calculate inventory. I want to at least get you that. And then maybe send a couple sample scripts that you can use when you prospect. So let's talk about strategy. So in this example that we were talking about in Monroe, the strategy would be to identify, he came up with his niche market area, would be to identify like how many homes are for sale in that particular area. In that geographic area, how many of them went pending? How many of them are on the market? How much inventory is there in Monroe? So as you're thinking about your particular niche market or your geographic area that you're going to focus on, you need to go to the MLS and identify how many actives, how many pendings, how many solds are in that particular area. And that will give you a starting place, or at least set you up for success as far as coming up with, is my area too broad? Is it too narrow? And that's a strategy. You need to segment your marketplace geographically. So your object is to really view the macro and the micro areas of your marketplace. The macro would be the marketplace as a whole. When somebody says, Rochelle, how's the market in Federal Way, for example? I might want to have some talking points or have some speaking points. And you can get that information, that breakdown, if you will, by just knowing some macro aspects, such as, the school district, the geography, what's the property types, are there gated communities? In Federal Way, it's a suburb of the Seattle area. So macro, if I was going to talk about what's the market like in Seattle, I'll say the economy is really good. In King County, especially in South King County, what we're seeing is a lot of people are finding that they can get more house for the money. And there are a lot of single-family homes, less condominiums, although condos are springing up in Federal Way. For the most part, people are looking for residential properties so that they can have an easy commute to Seattle and live in Federal Way. So understanding your marketplace in a macro point of view is super helpful in helping that consumer understand that you know what the macroeconomics are like in that marketplace. Once you understand the macro, then you can begin to understand and break it down into more of a segment as far as coming up with what I would consider 5 price divisions. Once you decide on your geographic area to segment, you need to break it down. I would break it down into 5 points, and I would list entry, low, middle, entry, low, middle, so it's kind of like your lower to middle bracket, a middle income, upper to middle, and upper or luxury market. So, for example, if I was talking with somebody who said, Rochelle, in Federal Way, I'm looking for, a waterfront home, and I'm looking for something, I work at Virginia Mason Hospital, and I really want to find a community that's nearby, my daughter's school and things like that. That's showing me that, we're going to really need to not just look at the macro areas of Federal Way. We're going to really focus in on the micro or the marketplace segmentation that I've done. So I might not want to share with her numbers like, oh yeah, the market's moving really fast. The homes are selling within 30 days off the market. Well, in that upper or upper middle area of the marketplace of Federal Way, certainly it's not moving that quickly. In fact, I can prove with numbers and statistics that the upper middle and upper areas of Federal Way are actually staying on the market, and it is a buyer's market for the most part in those particular price points. It's unlike areas of Seattle in the $1.5 to $2 million price point where things are actually going pretty fast. It's a buyer's market. A seller's market in Seattle. In Federal Way, however, in that price segmentation, what we are seeing is that things are staying on the market for 6 months to a year. So that helps the buyer understand or the consumer understand that your segmentation. You're not going to give them information that you can just, you're just spouting stuff off. You actually understand and are able to disseminate that information into a way that they understand. Once you know the actual price points in the area, then you can segment accordingly. So you can go to the MLS and you can pull up a report that will show you 3-level homes or 3-bedroom homes, 4-bedroom homes, 5-bedroom homes, 6-bedroom homes, and you can segment the marketplace based off of that. And that will help you in knowing what the average, median, and income brackets would be in that particular area. Then what you want to do is you want to know your available inventory levels. We're going to actually do that utilizing the MLS here in a minute. But I want you to understand the markets are influenced by inventory levels. And the inventory levels affects the amount or the percentage of homes that sell every month. The higher the inventory, the lower the percentage of homes that sell monthly. So another term used for percentage of homes sold is listings sold versus listings taken. In a normal market, the percentage of listings sold versus listings taken will run about 65 to 70%. But in inventory short, which many places of King County, we are still in an inventory shortage, high-level sellers market, the number could be well over 90%. So you really need to understand your inventory levels, and we're going to go over that tonight so that by the end of the call, you're able to identify a test area market and know what the inventory is like, and then be able to explain that to a consumer. You're also going to want to know what things have went pending in the last 30 days. We're talking about pending sales. So if you count how many closed transactions you have, you're really like looking at only, when something takes about 45 to 60 days for things to close. So if you're only looking at sold inventory, or you're just looking at the sold comparables, when you pull up, for example, to know about the marketplace, you find 5 solds. Well, those solds really are reflective of what happened over 60 days ago. Might be reflective of the marketing and the marketplace during the summer. Now we're entering winter, so the things that are selling or that are pending probably in the last 2 weeks are more indicative of where the market's going, rather than, looking 2 months back and seeing what has sold back then. So think about that too. We're obviously in a cyclical business where, the seasons do affect our business. And you can start to see trends when you look at those numbers. How to calculate absorption rate. I get this question quite a bit. Some people don't even know what absorption rate means. It's plain and simple, is really the months of inventory that we have. So the class calculation is really the linchpin of the whole analysis. You need to take the current inventory level in each price point and divide it by the month's pending sales. I'm going to say that one more time. Take the current inventory level in each price point and divide it by the month's pending sales that are in that price point. And this will give you the number of months of inventory left if the sales remain constant. So you're making an assumption with this calculation that if no homes will come on the market before the entire present inventory is sold, you're going to have that calculation. So, for example, if you had 100 homes for sale at an entry-level price point, let's just say that the entry-level price point in the marketplace was 100 to 200. I would actually break it down. I'd say 100 to 150 in Tacoma would be your entry-level price point. There are 20 homes in that price range that sell on average every month. So what that you clearly have with that particular analysis, there are 20 homes in the price range that sell in the 100 to 200 range every month. You clearly have about 5 months worth of inventory left. So 5 months of inventory means that in order for a home to sell, you've got to be competitively priced. You can't overprice it because there's going to be other competition out there. It's a buyer's market rather than a seller's market, and that therefore you need to think about pricing and price slightly below what your competitors are doing so that you can move faster than your competitor if you're a listing agent. The trends of the marketplace are predetermined by the inventory of listings, pending sales, and number of months inventory. Your marketplace will not magically go against the grain and go against the law of supply and demand. The key to knowing your trends is really going into your MLS and knowing how to pull those reports. And you can do that for the price segmentation. So what I would do is go to your MLS at this point in time, and you can go into Matrix. So if you click on Matrix at the top, and I'm going to go through fairly quickly, but if you have questions or you're not sure where to click on, be sure you reach out to me after the call via email, and I'll be happy to point you in the right direction. So the next link, once you're in Matrix, is to click on, there's a couple tabs that are confusing to most agents because they're not trained really well on how to utilize these reports. There is a button that's called Stats, and there's a button that is called Market Reports. So market reports will give you a lot of information and really drill down. What I want you guys to understand tonight is how to use the stats just to kind of get a quick snapshot of that particular, once you've isolated and figure out what your segmentation of your marketplace, your geographic area, then I want you to go in and identify the months of inventory or the absorption rate of that particular geographic area. So I'm going to use, let's do Gig Harbor since it's area number 1. So if you click on Stats and then you click on the left-hand side, there's System Presets, and there's a button that says Months of Inventory. I'm going to go ahead and just click Months of Inventory. I'm going to select Gig Harbor. And you can do this by county. You can do this by community. You can do this by your segmentation, by your price segmentations. You can put in a range on the price on the right-hand side. You can break this down between residential and condominium. It doesn't look like you can break it down for commercial or multifamily, and that's probably because we don't show on the MLS all of commercial. or multifamily. We rely on commercial MLS to sometimes provide us with that type of data. So these market reports are really going to be utilized for residential condominiums or manufactured homes. So you're looking at months of inventory. But I can break it down for price segmentation if I wanted to. I just want a general overview, though, of the months of inventory in Gig Harbor for residential properties. So once I have those three things checked, months of inventory on the left, the area number on the middle section, and the residential on the subtype, then I can, over on the left side, click Generate. And what that will do is it generates a graph. And the graph is a trend line that shows you how many months of inventory we have in Gig Harbor currently. So, and what it looks like to me is that we have 4 months of inventory. You can hover over the graph, and you can see the peaks and the valleys, and you can see that April 2014 we had a huge growth in months of inventory. And then we kind of went back down. And so what that shows me is that for the most part in Gig Harbor, we've got to price things pretty competitively in order to get a buyer. Anything below 2 months is a seller's marketplace, meaning things go for above asking at times. Anything above 4 months is more of a buyer's market. And when we're between 2 and 4, it could be more balanced, but for the most part, you have to price competitively above 2 to 4 months. So if you're at 4 to 6 months, you see something that rises up to 8 months, you're definitely going to want to price below your competition. If you're under 2 months, maybe you're down in Seattle where you're like less than a month of supply, then you can oftentimes price slightly below the sold comparables and then generate a bidding war, which would mean that there's a lot of people interested in your property, and it will go up a lot higher than probably the marketplace will bear. And that's because of the simple fact of supply and demand. Okay, you can also look at the sales price median. If I just change my system presets to go with sales price median, and then I click Generate, it will show me what my median sales price is. And it's definitely jumped up from 2014 to 2015. In 2014, in November of 2014, it was about $310, $325, I believe, on Gig Harbor. Let's see, if you hover over the graph, it will actually tell you. $315.5. And then the next point, when I'm in October of 2015, the median sales price went up to $422,598. So very nice growth in Gig Harbor. So we are definitely seeing the recovery in the Gig Harbor area just year over year. Again, this is some talking points. You can see how I'm using the graph to explain some facts. And this you can copy and paste this into your email. You can send them a copy of this report. You can print this graph for your appointment. There's a lot of information you can do utilizing the MLS. There are people at other companies, I won't name any names, that pay $50 to $75, even upwards of $150 to have that company provide them with graphs that they can share with their buyers or their sellers. And really, the information is right here at your fingertips. All you've got to be able to do is communicate what you're viewing, share this, print this, email it, explain it to your consumer so they know that you understand it. You can also click on the sales by price range, and you click Generate, and that will show you, this might be how you were able to segment your marketplace. And as you can see, if I do Gig Harbor, because I'm still in the Gig Harbor area, if I need to revise it, I have to go back to criteria. But if I'm looking at sales by price range, I can really take that, remember how we talked about earlier, segment my geographic area into 5 different parts. Clearly, by doing this, I can see that my entry level is going to be probably the 200 to 250 would be my entry level. My low to middle would be 250 to 300. My middle to high would be 300. And my highest would be probably over 500. My luxury would be 500 plus. And so you can kind of segment your marketplace just by looking at this graph. And so when you're looking at your own, like say you're looking tonight at your specific area, maybe you're looking at a zip code in Seattle, maybe you're looking at Tacoma around a certain geographic area. You can click on stats, preset your system, and then when you're in the presets, you can do sales by price range, and that's how you can segment your area, your geographic area out. Okay, so that's hopefully will help you knowing how what these presets mean, and then clicking generate, and then obviously communicating in a way that makes sense to your consumer. Okay, the other website I'm going to allude to, I'm not going to go into detail, but you can actually go to Movoto, Movoto.com. Movoto is a website it's like a Zillow, it's like a Trulia, where it kind of gives you information about the marketplace, but you can easily pop in the search bar, say a zip code or a city, and you can get an idea of what the marketplace is doing. If you scroll down, it will kind of show you, and it shows the consumers all the properties that are going, 78 results, for example, in 98003. And there's a way to get local information based on market statistics or demographics. And there's a way up in the upper right-hand corner where it's a drop-down menu. It's right next to agents or local information. You can click on market statistics or 98003 trends, and it will tell you the median list price, the inventory counts, price reductions, and so forth. And that might be a good way. If you're not from around the area or you're just wanting some macro information, it might be smart for you to just go to Movoto first before you go to the MLS so that you really can quickly do these types of searches and identify at a glance some talking points that you can utilize with your clients. So, for example, in Federal Way, today there's a total of 418 homes in the market. The median price is $294,000. There's about 3% distressed properties. The home sizes are around 2,000 square feet. And what we're seeing is an upward, slightly leveling out effect in Federal Way on the median prices. But we are seeing homes take about 45 days before they get a price reduction. So again, this gives you some good talking points that you can use. Now again, all I did was go to Movoto.com, popped in a few things in their market, and that where it says local information, I went to market trends and was able to get some talking points from that website. Now certainly consumers can get that information too, but how many consumers rely on the agent to give them that type of level of market knowledge? You've got to be familiar with your market if you're going to be showing homes in a certain area. So if I show homes in an area where I'm not very comfortable, before I prepare to go into my appointment, I'm going to definitely go to Movoto or go to the MLS and do a search to understand at a glance, how much inventory, what's the average sale, the median sales price, how many days are things currently on the market, and what can I expect? Is the market going up? Is it going down? What kind of marketplace am I going to be entering? So that's a great place or a great website resource to utilize. The last thing I want to cover tonight before I let you go would be an email that would be a good one that you could utilize. If you're thinking, well, geez, how do I communicate this to my consumer? How do I get this, how do I sound like I know what I'm doing? Maybe I haven't done any real estate before. You want to basically get confidence by making those numbers real. The report you send really should include at least some numbers, and it should be sent out quarterly at least. You're giving customers an update on how their investment is doing. If you want to communicate with maybe your past clients or your friends or your family members, that might be a nice soft way to approach utilizing market reports. But you should be sending those out every quarter, giving your customers an update on how their investment is doing. You're giving them a clear picture of that you're still in the business, that you understand the marketplace. And then what I would say, along with maybe a grid or a snapshot of what the market's doing, is just a simple analysis. Underneath the numbers, write a couple sentences about what's happening in your local marketplace, and then a call to action at the bottom. It just says if you might need a property, property information, or you have a question about something in your neighborhood that has listed or just sold. be sure to call me if you have questions, just so they know that they can reach out to you. You've got to have several calls to action on your postcards, on your mail pieces, on your bio. You need to make sure that people understand that you understand the marketplace. When you utilize this information, when you utilize these reports, it will help position yourself as the expert in the marketplace. You're going to utilize your knowledge to create a sense of urgency. You're going to really reveal motivation and convey the market knowledge. So here's a sample script that you can use. As you can see from the current market report, so you might want to write these little notes down tonight. As you can see from the current market report attached or below, prices in this area are, and then fill in the blank. Are they going up? Are they stabilizing? Are they going down? But they're rising or they're going down in some areas of the neighborhood, period. Rock bottom pricing means opportunity for you to buy a home today that increases in value next year. When would you like to get together to discuss some of these market trends? Question mark. That's one sample script that you could use. Another one you could use, have you been told that a well-priced, great condition, solid location house is lasting only a couple weeks on the market right now? Do you understand or do you know that when a home is priced very well, very competitively, is in great condition, meaning that they have all of their updates done with their property, and it's in a good location, meaning it's not on a busy street or it's not got deferred maintenance, that house is only listing on the market for 2 weeks? Some consumers don't realize that even in a marketplace where it's fall, winter, and we're approaching even the holidays, that homes are only staying on the market a couple weeks in certain areas. If you are focusing on a geographic area that has that type of you are, and can you provide them with stats? They're not that hard to find, as you can see from tonight. You're using your knowledge to secure the appointment and build credibility. Using the marketplace knowledge and statistics is an easy way to build trust. You could just be simply standing in a grocery store line. I was last week with my name badge on, and the gal, I was putting, a few things in the cart, and I was kind of hurrying. You could tell I was rushing. The one lady in the line said, hey, how's the market going? That's your opportunity to give them your business card. But if you say it's going great and that's all you say, that's not going to be enough for that particular person standing in the grocery store line to give you a call or to refer to you when they have questions about grandma's house that they're thinking about putting on the market. They're going to rely on somebody that's going to say, instead of just saying, oh, it's going great, if they're going to rely on somebody that says, you know what, it's going awesome, loving this marketplace. I'm just trying to get through the grocery store line so I can head to my next appointment. But the market's going really well. In Federal Way, the prices are going up. We're seeing that, people that bought 2 years ago are actually getting a lot more money for their homes. Some people that tried selling their home a year ago, they're obviously seeing that they can make a profit now. All of a sudden, she starts opening up and telling me about her mom's house, and thinking about getting it put on the market, and they've got something to do. And I tell her, just like I told you guys, the sample script, have you been told that, when it's well-priced and it's in great condition and in a solid location like Federal Way, that the homes only are lasting in the market 2 weeks? She's like, really? Wow, then we have to really get a jump on this. I said, you really should. And then give me a call when you're ready to go, and I'll come out and do a free market analysis for you. We'll provide you with a market report. And I captured her information. What's your name? What's your phone number? Put it right into my phone. I've got a lead. I've got somebody who's interested in selling or buying in the next 2 or 3 months. So again, it's not rocket science, you guys. Hopefully you guys have got some ideas from tonight's call. You feel a little more comfortable going to the MLS. You've got another website that I find very valuable. And then you've got enough resources here within our team to help get you where you need to go. So good luck out there. Have a wonderful week. Still very busy. I just put a listing on the market over the weekend. I had a lot of action on it. So I know there's a lot of buyers still out there on the hunt trying to find the right properties. So whether you're a buyer's agent or a listing agent, or both, the market is still very favorable. So have a great week, you guys, and as always, call or email me if you have questions.